Hi, everybody. This is Miss Winger from her house. Thursday evening, I started feeling a little bit scratchy throat and a headache, and didn't really think anything of it. And went to bed and woke up on Friday morning with a really bad sore throat and really bad headache. And so I got tested last night, and I tested positive for COVID. So I'm going to be out this week, and I am so sorry about that. Um, Luckily, I was wearing my mask on Thursday and wiping my desk down. So I'm hoping that everybody else is feeling good. You need to know right now, I feel good. I'm just a little bit tired. So I'm going to be recording some lessons, and it's really important for you to watch them. So for your passion project, you are at this point in your research notes where hopefully you've started to find one source. And if you haven't, then so you need to start there today. Just wanted to remind you that you will need to consult at least 4 sources. So we'll see 4 sources on your research notes, and that's not counting your passion project book. You must use 3 sources in your paper. So what that means is you may consult more sources than you actually end up using in your paper. Um, you must use 2 sources from the databases. I know that sometimes the databases hem you in, but if you do a really good search on one of them, I promise you, you'll be able to find something. It may be pretty basic, but we need to start with basic knowledge of our topics anyway. So once you have found your 2 database sources, then you can go back out on the big bad scary web if you'd like, but you need to make sure that you fill out a website credibility form, because if you don't do that, we don't know if your website's credible. Remember, we talked a little bit about experts. Experts are great, especially those of you who are doing sports topics. You all have coaches. They're not bad people to interview or email and see if they can give you some information on whatever it is that you're passionate about and you're studying. We've got books on Destiny and in the library, and you are welcome to sign out and take a pass and ask the substitute if you can go down and grab a book. That doesn't mean you have to read the whole book. It just you use the index in the book to find the information that you're looking for. So the first thing that you need to make sure that you have done is done a preliminary submission of your research notes. And what I'm looking for on that preliminary submission is that you've filled in your general topic, that you have your granddaddy research question here, that you have at least 5 things that you already know about your topic written here, and that you have at least 6 to 9 questions, and that they are attached to your depth and complexity icons or your content imperative icons. So once you get to that point, then you're ready to do some research. I want you to think of your research questions almost like our excuse me, our topic assignment. So I generate lots of questions. You answer those questions when you're doing your reading for history class. And so you on your own have generated these questions, and now you're going to go into reading sources. Some of the mistakes that people make, especially if they're reading a short article, is they don't read the whole short article. And that's the idea, is that at the end of this, you have read or at least pretty thoroughly, and it's not really skimming, it's more reading for a purpose, things like websites and stuff. So as an example, I'm ready, and I have turned in this already preliminarily for Miss Winger, and then I was ready to go into the databases. You're going to notice my databases are different because my topic is educational, and they've taken the adult part of the databases out, and that sounds a lot scarier than it is. It just means that the educational research is not in our databases anymore. So I use a different database. So I found an article for my topic, and you can see it here, and it's called 3 Steps to Great Coaching. And I was real excited because I knew it was going to answer a bunch of my questions. So the first thing that I absolutely have to do is generate the works cited entry. And because this is a different database, it doesn't have the nifty buttons that Britannica from the library web homepage on Canvas will have, for EBSCOhost, for all of those. And tomorrow, your research mini lesson, I'm going to be taking each one of those databases and showing you how they work so that you will know where the buttons are and all that kind of good stuff. But you should be very familiar with Britannica and pretty familiar with the other ones at this point. But if you feel uncomfortable, hopefully those lessons will help you. So I've read this article through because I have to read the whole thing. Now, I'm too tired, sorry, to do all of my notes at this point, but you'll notice that this article did answer one of my questions, which is what is the impact cycle? So I paraphrased what they said. And how I do that is if I find something and it was really right here in the article, right here and right here, I read it. And then what I'll do is I'll close the article down and then I'll put in my own words, without looking back at the article, the answer to this question. And then I make sure that I have my parenthetical citation right here. So you'll see this parenthetical citation. I know it looks weird. The reason it looks weird is this article was written by a lot of people. So the first person named in the article is this Jim Knight guy. And so it's Knight, and et al. Means lots of people with a period. And then it has the page number, because you'll notice that this particular source actually has the page number right here. So yes, I did cite this for me to help me generate this, again, because it wasn't on the databases, but you'll have a special database button. Once I'm finished with reading the entire article, the next thing that I do, so you see I've put my my works cited entry, and this is actually called an annotated bibliography. So bibliographies are for everything that you consult. Works cited pages are only for what you end up citing in your paper. So you may have the exact number of sources you have on your bibliography as you do in your works cited page. You may have less on your works cited page than you actually have on your annotated bibliography, and that's totally normal for that to happen. When I was doing research in my graduate school work, I mean, this thing was like pages and pages and pages and pages long. But the next step after you finish reading the entire article is you're going to write 100 to 150 word summary on this article. And you'll do basically this sentence right here is a main idea sentence. So what's the whole thing about? What's the main idea of the entire article? Then I do a beginning, a middle, and an end of the article, and then I sum it up. That's just how I do it. This is I think 112 words, and it should be between 100 and 150 words. So it's not a very long summary. It's just to remind you what's in this. So my next thing, my next article is probably going to be, this is actually a website that I found that's all about instructional coaching. So I was real excited about that. So I went ahead and put the works cited entry right there. I haven't looked through it yet, but probably at the end of reading this article, I'm going to have a lot of different information over here to answer my questions. The other thing that you'll notice is you might start to generate other questions based on your research, which is a good thing. So be flexible in your research. At the end of the Friday, you should be pretty much finished with your research notes. And you will notice that you'll probably have more than 6 to 9 questions on this side. You will have you need at least 10 pieces of paraphrased information on this side, and you need to have them from at least 3 different sources over here. So hopefully you've consulted 4 sources. You got tons of information over here that you can use. But remember that you cannot use more than 2 quotations, and your quotations must have a speaker, and the speaker must have a title. You can't just say, hey, Jenny Elliott Winger said this. I mean, who cares what Jenny Elliott Winger has to say about, I don't know, NFL football? I mean, she probably isn't an expert on that. So get some research done. Tomorrow we will be, I'll be doing a lesson on probably EBSCO Host or Gale, because I like both of those, and they have tons of articles, tons of information on there, and I think it might help you. All right, so get your work done. Your goal is to have at least 1 to 2 sources done by tomorrow. All right, good luck. Happy researching.